Hello there and welcome to Brian Lomack's Movie Talk. Today I'm going to review Jeepers Creepers. Before I get into this, I just want to say, I know there's a lot of kind of controversy, shall we say, surrounding the writer and director of this film, Victor Salva, because Jeepers Creepers 3 is on the way, so there's a lot of stuff in his history that's kind of come up again and reared its ugly head. I'm not here to talk about that, okay? I'm here to talk about the film. I will be reviewing the second one as well at a later date. May touch on some stuff there, just because of some stuff in the film, but I just want to concentrate on the film. That is my sole intention here, is to review the film, regardless of any external things that are going on. So yeah. Anyway, Jeepers Creepers. So this is a slasher slash monster, though more emphasis on the monster, movie from 2001, which stars Gina Phillips and Justin Long. They play Trish and Darry, brother and sister, who by chance witness something that is happening, the possibility that a serial killer, or a killer at this point, has just dumped some bodies down a chute, and when this guy kind of runs them off the road, they go back to the place, bizarrely, where they saw this happen, where they saw him dumping these bodies, to check it out. And from there on, all chaos ensues, and it turns into basically a monster movie with this thing that is now referred to as the Creeper. So let's start with that, the Creeper. I gotta say, this is a really great monster, I think, you know, and I know that the director Salva, he's very much influenced by the old Universal horror movies, you know, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Frankenstein, those kind of things, and I think it really shows. I think this is a bit more extreme than any of those monsters, but it's kind of like the natural progression, I think. This isn't your Freddy Krueger. This is more in the tradition of a classic monster. And I gotta say, I love the design of it. You never know what this thing really is. When we first meet him, we think he's just a man. And then as it goes on, we start to think, oh, maybe he's a vampire, Dracula himself. And then other stuff starts to happen. He becomes a creature of his own with many different facets and a really great design. The main thing for me that separates this film from the kind of rest of its ilk is that we do focus on this brother-sister relationship. There's no love interest in this film. There's no kind of hot young thing that everyone else is going after, and then, you know, the geeky one or the outsider ends up getting him at the end, or, you know, it's not about saving that person because they're in love with them in that way. This is about love, but in the best possible sense. It's about family. It's about a love that isn't about attraction, but actually about familial love. And that's what I like about it. I like that they focus on this relationship, and I believe this couple. You know, Gina Phillips, Justin Long, two really good actors. At least from the evidence here, they are. You know, this is one of the first films from both of them, and they have really amazing chemistry. And I do think it's helped by Salva's script. I think that the dialogue here feels quite natural. It feels like this is how a brother and sister would talk to one another. And I do think that the actors kind of put that on screen. If not for them, then this could have gone... Well, we'll get to Jeepers Creepers 2 when we get to Jeepers Creepers 2, but here it works, I think, that relationship. It really pulls me into the film. And when stuff starts happening, when bad stuff starts happening, I genuinely care about these characters. I genuinely feel for them, and I'm genuinely on edge for them. This isn't a film with a particularly high budget, so I think the tension that is kind of brought out of it by the director and by the actors and by all the crew, you know, the creature design and all that lot, the director of photography, there's real nice use of shadows in this, particularly when Justin Long's character is down in this tunnel, down in the pit where they find these bodies. Really eerie, really great lighting down there on that scene, and it all feeds into this horrible atmosphere that kind of sends chills down your spine. But despite the low budget, yeah, they managed to do quite a lot with it. I will say, however, there are a couple of shots, a couple of CGI shots, one in particular right at the end when the creeper is flying away. doesn't look very good at all. It looks really nasty, in fact. But for the most part, they do go with physical, practical effects, and that's what I love. And again, that harkens back to the old, Universal Monsters thing. But yeah, for the most part, it does work for me. One other negative that I would just point out is that there's this psychic character, and I don't completely cast it out. I accept it. I go along with it. Because I do know that there have been times in the past, throughout history, even on famous cases. I know that with the case of John Wayne Gacy, serial killer, they did employ psychics. They got psychics involved to help them with the case, and they were apparently of great value. So I don't completely discount this character, don't get me wrong, but it feels like she is there essentially just to be Basil exposition. She gives us all this information, the information these characters need, and it just kind of feels a bit shoehorned, a bit forced, and I feel like they maybe could have got a different way, different method of getting that across. Jonathan Breck is the actor who plays the Creeper. Now he's got quite a lot of work cut out for him because he's under an awful lot of prosthetics. But it's quite amazing how much this guy can do with his eyes, particularly the whites of his eyes. There are times when it does genuinely send shivers down my spine because his eyes look so unnatural, especially behind that makeup. They look otherworldly and they suit this particular monster. So yeah, I like what he's doing underneath all that makeup, and I'm glad they brought him back for the second one and apparently the third one too. There are a couple of times in this film when the two main characters, the brother and sister, kind of do things that you really got to question the validity of, particularly that first decision to want to go back and check out these bodies, to see if anyone's still alive. My first protocol would be to get my ass to a police station as fast as possible. Another thing that I do like is the reactions from most of the characters that these two meet throughout the film. The way that they respond to it is pretty good. Like this, in films like this, you usually get certain characters who, they end up bumping into, and they unload the information of everything that's going on, and no one believes them, and then they might be complete douchebags about it, and then eventually get the comeuppance, and it's kind of like a told you so moment. But here we get a little bit of that doubt, a little bit of hang on, these could just be a couple of crazy kids. But for the most part, the reactions feel quite natural. They do go along with them. They do check out things they're saying. They investigate what they're being told, and I like that. I like the reactions from them, and I like how quickly actually that it escalates. This isn't a thing where it ends up just being word of these two youngsters, but actually, we get this one scene in which the Creeper attacks this police station, and he's there for the whole world to see, basically. So there's no doubt in anyone's mind that what these kids are saying is true. It's just that no one can do anything about it because this Creeper is just too damn powerful. For me, I think this is a genuinely good, creepy, rollicking monster movie, with slasher elements as well. And I think it's obviously one of the many films that kind of came into being due to the success of Scream. You definitely can't underestimate the impact that Scream had on films like this. There's certain things that feed into it, particularly the dialogue, the way the brother and sister speak to each other, and a lot of the postmodern elements to it. So yeah, for me, this is a really good film, and I give it a 4 out of 5. It does have a few little niggles, which I've mentioned, but on the whole, very strong. But what about you? Have you seen Jeepers Creepers? And if so, what did you think about it? Comment below, let me know, and until next time, crack it.